What's up, everybody? Welcome to our junior high interactive family experience. My name is Pastor Ethan. Thanks so much for participating today with the family. All right. Well, I don't know if you knew this, but school's almost over. Summer is on its way. You're about to step into 2 months of screen-free school. Summer season is in sight, and it's also graduation season for our grade 8s, and we would love to celebrate you with a personalized red carpet grad ceremony. So anytime between Monday, June 28th and Saturday, July 3rd, we will set up a time to drop by your home for a 15-minute outdoor ceremony. We will roll out a red carpet, set up gold stanchions, and you and your parents will walk down the red carpet together for a photo shoot. We'll say a few prepared words, present you with a gift, and to end the celebration, we'll have your parents share some kind and thoughtful words. I mean, it's been a tough year, so we thought we'd throw a celebration for you and congratulate you on a school year that has been everything but easy and simple. I mean, you had in-person classes with restrictions, online learning, and a hybrid version of both. That kind of makes for quite the year. So we would love the opportunity to throw a small celebration to end the 2021 school year on a positive note. If you'd like a red carpet grad ceremony, just click the link in the video description right below me by June 15th. We can't wait to see you there. All right, let me tell you what you can expect for junior high today. We are gonna fill out an online connection card, so parents, get your smartphones ready. We're gonna have some friendly family competition. We're gonna head into week 2 of our brand new series called What I Really Want. And then all throughout our teaching video today, we're gonna pause and have some great discussion. Now, I wanna remind all of our parents watching this morning that you are the ones who will be leading those discussions today. And the discussion questions can be found and downloaded from an email I sent out yesterday. And you can also find them in our LakePoint Junior High Facebook group. If you didn't get that email, or if you haven't joined our Facebook group, make sure you let me know so we can add you to our mailing list and send you that invite. Why? Because it's the best way to do these interactive experiences, and that is by leading those discussions with your student. In fact, it's the entire reason why we do this every week, so you can have a clearer window into the spiritual development of your student and to create a space where you're helping them grow into everything God created them to be. So if you need to pause the video and go download those discussion guides, please do so now. Well, we are about to get into our series, but before you do, we would love to hear from you. We want to stay connected and check in, and so we have something called a connection card where we can do that. The connection card is found right on the main page of the LakePoint app, and so we would love if you would take the next 60 seconds and fill out the card, and it's basically like signing our guest book and letting us know you were here. Thanks for completing the connection card and signing our guest book. Now, every week here at Junior High, we have some friendly family competition, and today we are going to have a race. All right, this is a racing game, but instead of needing to be really fast, the way you win this race is based on a series of questions, and depending on your answers, you'll either move closer or further away from the finish line. So all you need to play is a clear space in the house and a starting line and a finish line. Everyone will begin by standing at the start line, and then I'm going to throw up 10 different questions that you must answer truthfully. If you answer the question with a yes, you get to move one step forward. If your answer is no, you move backwards. The first person to either reach the finish line or be the closest to the finish line after the 10 questions will be declared champion. All right, are you ready? Pause the video, create your start and finish lines, and then hit play for our 10 questions. All right, how did you do? Who crossed the finish line first? If you would let me know by taking the next 2 minutes to post a photo in our LakePoint Junior High Facebook group, you'll have the chance to win a Tim Hortons gift card. Or if you don't have Facebook, you can just email me at ethan@lakepoint.church. All right, well, we are going to switch gears and head into the teaching portion of junior high. And we are heading into week 2 of our brand new series today that's all about temptation. Check it out.
Hey friends, it's Bobby. So I have a couple questions for you, especially if you have a sweet tooth. So which do you like better, Snickers or Milky Way? Or do you like Crunch or M&Ms? Or how about you like Twix or Starburst? I think out of all these candies, my favorite would probably be the M&Ms. M&Ms are so good. So maybe that stuff isn't that kind of temptation that makes or breaks us. If we choose to give into temptation like eat a little candy or watch a little YouTube or even buy a pair of Nike sneakers, we aren't really doing anything that could have major consequences in the long run. But not all temptations have major consequences. Remember, temptation means wanting to do something that may not be the best for us. So when we're tempted to do things like cheat on a test, or fight with our sibling, or lie to our best friend, or post that rude comment online, or even look at inappropriate pictures, we know we're dealing with big stuff that can lead to big consequences. And I don't know about you, but when that happens to me, I find myself wondering what it is that makes me want to do those things I'm not supposed to do. What is it that makes me really want to do something I know isn't good for me? I mean, doesn't that seem odd when you think about it? Usually I avoid what's not good for me. I know it's not good for me to break my leg, so I avoid downhill skiing. I know getting fillings for cavities hurts, so I brush my teeth every day. I do what I can to avoid the stuff that's painful or bad or unhealthy for me. So why don't I do the same thing when it comes to temptation? I don't know about you, but I struggle with this a lot. When I find myself tempted to do something that I know isn't good for me, it makes me wonder what is wrong with me. I mean, why can't I just get it right? If I know what's good for me, why don't I just do it? Is it just me? When it comes to this whole facing temptation thing, is something wrong with me? Maybe you felt the same way. When you found yourself tempted to do something you know isn't good for you, maybe you've wondered, am I bad if I want to do it? Am I bad if I'm already doing it? Am I bad if I'm not getting in trouble for it? Am I bad for thinking about it even if I don't choose to do it? Is something wrong with me? See, I think that one of our biggest struggles when it comes to temptation isn't always about whether or not we give in. It's not always about the choices we make or don't make. Sometimes the hardest things about dealing with temptation is how it makes us feel about ourselves. I mean, are we bad? Are we wrong? Are we the only ones who struggle with this? And can I let you in on a secret? The answer to the struggle that you might be facing when it comes to temptation can be found by looking at Jesus himself. Like, did you know that Jesus dealt with temptation? Crazy, right? Like the one that died for our sins. Like the one that never, and I mean never, made a mistake or misstep. The one who is the Son of God himself. Even he dealt with temptation. I don't know about you, but just knowing that makes me feel better. See, just before Jesus started traveling and teaching about God while he was here on earth, he went to the desert to pray and fast and prepare for what was to come. That might seem weird to us, but for Jesus, it was completely normal. He wanted to spend his days talking to his Father and away from any distractions, including food. I mean, Jesus was basically a superhero. But right at the end, on day 40, the temptations started. I mean, have you noticed that temptation finds us in a similar way? It usually comes when we're not our best selves. Like when we're super tired or really lonely or when we're like fed up with life, that's when temptation shows up and it's hardest to resist. That happened with Jesus too. Now, it's true that Jesus wasn't tempted to steal a cool pair of jeans or to go too far with someone he's dating or to stay up all night and play video games like we might be, but he was tempted over and over again. And when he was tired, lonely, hot, and hungry, Jesus faced the temptation to give into what wasn't his Father's best for him. And while we ultimately know that he didn't give into those things he was tempted with, we also know this, that Jesus understands temptation. We see this in the book of the Bible called Hebrews. Hebrews is in the New Testament, the part of the Bible that was written about Jesus and the start of the Christian church. In the world at the time this was written, there was a lot of temptation to turn away from God and enjoy what looked like an easier life. So, in an effort to help them out, the writer of Hebrews wrote them a letter. Did the letter say that these were bad people because they faced temptation? Did it say that they weren't being faithful followers of Jesus? I mean, did it say that they were wrong? Let's take a look. For we do not have a high priest who is unable to empathize with our weaknesses, but we have one who has been tempted in every way, just as we are. Yet he did not sin. I think we need to break this down a little. The phrase high priest is used to describe Jesus here. The role of the high priest in the Jewish culture, where most of the audience would have come from, was to act as the middle person between followers of God and God himself. But when Jesus died and came back to life, he became the ultimate high priest, removing anything that would keep us from God. So when the writer said that we have a high priest who empathizes and understands our weaknesses and temptations, he was talking about Jesus. So, does temptation mean you're bad or wrong or not good enough? Not at all. Because the reality is everybody faces temptation. I mean, you, me, your teachers, your siblings, your parents, your best friend, even Jesus himself. Everybody faces temptation. And because of that, we can know that we're not failing or struggling or facing it alone when we deal with it. Remember, even Jesus himself faced temptation. And Jesus also never made any mistakes, not a single one. So, what does that tell us? It tells us that facing temptation isn't wrong. It's not the desire to do something that's wrong. It's what you choose to do with that desire that can lead you down the wrong path. The last part of the verse reminds us that when he was faced with temptation, Jesus made the choice to resist. He didn't let it lead him into making a bad decision. And the same can be true for us. Temptation doesn't have to lead into sin. And I think one of the things that can help us choose not to give in and move toward a mistake is remembering that in facing temptation, we're not alone. We can remember that in Jesus, we find somebody who gets it. Remember, everybody faces temptation. And because we know that's true, here are a few things we can do the next time we find ourselves struggling with temptation. First, remember what's true about you. Bad choices don't make us bad people. One mistake doesn't mean you've messed up for good. The desire to do something we know we shouldn't doesn't make us anything other than human. So, when we find ourselves facing temptation, we need to remember what's true. We are God's good creation. We are loved and known and understood by him. And there's nothing we can do that will change anything about what he says is true about us. Second, invite Jesus into it. Remember, Jesus understands what we're feeling when we face temptation. He gets it, and because of that, he can help us stand firm when we're facing it. If you're dealing with temptation to do something you know isn't good for you, invite Jesus into it. Ask for his help. Pray that he'll remind you that he not only loves you, but he understands you. Last, invite someone else into it. Since everybody, and I mean everybody, faces temptation, that means there are friends, trusted adults, and other people in your life who also know what you're going through. Because of that, you don't have to face temptation alone. Tell a trusted friend or an adult, like a group leader, about it. Invite them to encourage, support, and walk with you as you work to choose God's best for your life. That's why we do groups. Your leaders and friends in your group can be so helpful in navigating this stuff with you. Remember, everybody faces temptation, and that means you can face it together.
Listen, I know that sometimes when we do something or want to do something we know we probably shouldn't, it leaves us asking a lot of questions. Questions like, am I a bad person if I want to do this? Or am I a bad person because I'm doing this? Am I a bad person even if I'm not getting in trouble for it? Is it okay to even think about what I want to do even though I'm not doing it? I mean, is there something wrong with me? Is anyone else feeling this way? Am I the only one dealing with this? Well, the good news is that no, you're not alone. Everyone faces temptation, even your parents, even me. Everybody faces temptation, and because of that, we know that we're not alone. I mean, we learned today that Jesus faced temptation, and that helps us see that experiencing temptation isn't wrong. It's what we choose to do with our desires that could be wrong. So, what do we do with those desires? Well, in our video today, we heard that we can, number one, remember what's true about ourselves. That bad choices don't make bad people, and we're all God's creation, which means, number two, we're loved and understood by him. And because he loves us and understands us, we can invite him into our temptation. God can help us stand firm when we face difficult things. Number three, we can invite a trusted adult into what we struggle with so we can have support and encouragement from those who love us. Remember, everybody faces temptation. You are not alone. Thanks for participating today. I hope you spend some time today as a family and you got to talk through those discussion questions and had a great conversation around today's message. Now, before you go, remember to post a photo of your family participating today in our LakePoint Junior High Facebook group, and you could be the proud winner of a Tim Hortons gift card. Now, to close our time this morning, take the next 2 minutes to pray together as a family, and then head to the LakePoint app to access our weekday devotionals that go along with the series. You'll find them in the Family Resources section, and you can also find the link in the video description right below me. Also in the video description is our red carpet grad ceremony registration link, so make sure you check that out as well. Have a wonderful week, friends. We'll see you next week.